Have you ever wondered if space and time, as we comprehend them, are merely illusions? A provocative question, isn't it? Illusions are, after all, a distortion of the senses, revealing how our brain normally organizes and interprets sensory stimulation. So let's delve into the depths of a grand illusion, one that involves the very fabric of our existence, space and time. Imagine for a moment that our understanding of the world around us is not as concrete as we believe. We perceive the world through our five senses, but what if these senses are only showing us a fraction of reality? What if there's more to the universe than what we can touch, see, hear, smell, or taste? This is where the concept of space and time as potential illusions comes into play. Space, as we understand it, is a three-dimensional arena in which objects and events occur in relative positions and directions. But what if space is not a fundamental reality, but rather a construct of our senses? What if it's merely a mental framework within which we organize our experiences? Then there's time. That relentless march from the past, through the present, into the future. We measure it, we plan our lives around it, and yet, it remains one of the greatest mysteries. Is time simply a human construct, a tool we've created to make sense of our existence? Or is it a fundamental aspect of the universe, flowing independently, with or without our perception? If space and time are indeed illusions, it opens up a Pandora's box of questions. Are we living in a reality or an illusion? Are our lives governed by the relentless tick-tock of the cosmic clock? Or are we floating in an endless spatial expanse bound by the limitations of our senses? These are questions that have intrigued philosophers and scientists alike, pushing the boundaries of our understanding and challenging the very foundations of our perceived reality. If space and time are illusions, what does that imply about our existence? As we explore this grand illusion, we invite you to ponder, to question, and to open your mind to the mysteries of space and time. The theory that space and time are illusions is not a new concept. It's an idea that has evolved over centuries, challenging our everyday perception of reality. Its roots trace back to ancient Eastern philosophies, where concepts of Maya, the illusion of the world, and samsara, the cycle of birth and death, were central tenets. These philosophies proposed that our perception of reality was not the ultimate truth, but a mere illusion, a construct of our minds. Fast forward to the 17th century, when the great philosopher René Descartes questioned the nature of reality in his famous declaration, cogito ergo sum, or I think therefore I am, suggesting that our existence is the only undeniable truth, and everything else could be a deception. However, it was in the 20th century that this theory took a scientific turn. Albert Einstein, with his theory of relativity, introduced a new perspective on space and time. He proposed that space and time are not separate entities but interwoven into a single continuum known as space-time. This idea was revolutionary, as it suggested that what we perceive as absolute fixed dimensions of space and time are actually relative and can be altered. In the late 20th century, theoretical physicist John Wheeler took this idea a step further. He suggested that even space-time might not be a fundamental aspect of reality, but an emergent phenomenon arising from something deeper, something yet unknown. This theory, the idea that space and time are illusions, is both fascinating and bewildering. It challenges our most basic understanding of the world around us. It questions our everyday experiences and asks us to consider that what we perceive as reality might be far from the actual truth. So, the next time you find yourself glancing at a clock or looking up at the stars, remember you might be witnessing not just the ticking of time or the vastness of space, but perhaps a grand illusion. But how can we understand this theory in a more tangible way? Imagine living in a two-dimensional world. How would you perceive space? In such a world, your experience of existence would be confined to length and width, with no concept of height. You'd exist on a flat plane, unable to fathom the idea of depth. So, what if we extrapolate this to our three-dimensional reality? Could it be that we too are limited by our perception, unable to grasp the full scope of space? Let's explore this idea. We perceive the world through our senses, which are designed to navigate a three-dimensional environment. This sensory perception is our reality. But what if there's more to space than we can see or touch? Consider the human eye. It can only perceive a fraction of the electromagnetic spectrum. The rest is invisible to us. Yet we know that other parts of the spectrum exist. Infrared, ultraviolet, X-rays, gamma rays, they're all there just beyond the scope of our vision. Could the same be true for space? Could there be dimensions beyond the three we're familiar with, dimensions that are, at this very moment, beyond our comprehension? Think about the science of quantum mechanics, where particles can be in two places at once or spin in opposite directions simultaneously. These phenomena defy our understanding of space. They suggest that space isn't as straightforward as we believe it to be. Our senses, as marvelous as they are, can only perceive a portion of the world around us. They've evolved to help us survive in our environment, not to unravel the mysteries of the universe. Therefore, it's plausible that our perception of space is merely a survival strategy, a simplified version of a much more complex reality. We've long accepted that the Earth isn't flat. We've embraced the concept of a spherical Earth, orbiting around a star in a universe filled with galaxies. So, why not entertain the idea that space itself might be more than what our senses tell us? Now let's dive into the illusion of time. We perceive time as a continuous flow, but what if it's not? Let's dive into the fascinating realm of quantum physics and the theory of relativity to explore this radical idea. Time, as we understand it, seems to be a straightforward concept. The seconds tick by, minutes turn into hours, days into years. We age, we grow, we evolve. But could this just be an illusion, a deception of our consciousness? Quantum physics, the study of the very small, suggests that time might not be as constant as we believe. At the quantum level, particles can exist in multiple states at once and only settle into a definite state when observed. This mind-bending phenomenon, known as superposition, challenges our traditional understanding of time as linear and unidirectional. Einstein's theory of relativity further complicates our understanding of time. According to this groundbreaking theory, time is not the same for everyone. It can stretch and contract based on the intensity of gravitational forces and the speed of movement. This means that a person traveling near the speed of light would experience time slower than someone stationary. This is known as time dilation, a concept that shatters our everyday perception of time as a steady, unchanging entity. But how does our consciousness come into play? Well, our brains process information from the past and project it into the future to create a sense of continuity. This constant mental projection forms our perception of time, but it's just that, a perception, not an absolute reality. In fact, some philosophers and scientists propose that all moments in time exist simultaneously, and it's only our consciousness that strings them together into a coherent timeline. This idea, known as eternalism, posits that past, present, and future are all equally real and merely perspectives based on where one stands in space-time. So what does this all mean for us? It means that our understanding of time, a fundamental aspect of our existence, might be nothing more than an elaborate illusion. But as we continue to unravel the mysteries of the universe, perhaps we'll find that this illusion is more beautiful and complex than we could ever imagine. If space and time are illusions, it fundamentally changes how we comprehend our existence. The idea that our understanding of the cosmos could be based on a grand illusion is both a humbling and invigorating thought. This theory, if proven true, would have significant implications for both science and philosophy. Let's start with science. It would mean that our current understanding of physics and the universe is incomplete, and perhaps even entirely wrong. The laws of physics, as we know them, are based on the existence of space and time. If these are illusions, then we would need to reevaluate and reconstruct these laws. This could potentially lead to new discoveries and advancements in science that we cannot even begin to imagine. On the philosophical side, the illusion of space and time would make us question our perception of reality. If what we perceive as physical space is an illusion, then what does that mean for our existence? Are we just projections in a cosmic hologram? Are our lives, our memories, our experiences merely illusions too? Moreover, it could also challenge our understanding of free will and determinism. If time does not flow in a linear fashion, as this theory suggests, then does that mean our past, present, and future are all happening simultaneously? If so, are our actions predetermined, and we are just following a script that has already been written? These are not just abstract philosophical musings. These questions could have profound implications on how we live our lives, how we perceive ourselves and others, and how we understand our place in the universe. The thought of space and time being illusions is indeed a radical one, but it pushes the boundaries of our knowledge and understanding. It forces us to question, to wonder, and to explore. It reminds us that we are part of a universe that is far more mysterious and awe-inspiring than we can currently fathom. As we continue to unravel the mysteries of the universe, we must keep in mind that reality might be more complex and more fascinating than we can currently comprehend.